We are live. How you guys doing? You are watching Art Autopsy. I am your host, Clint Carney. I'm a professional artist. I do a lot of work in the film and television industry, and I'm pretty sure I got green paint all over everywhere. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. If you've never watched before on this show, I highly encourage everybody who's watching at home to get out your art supplies and make some art right along with me. You don't have to make what I'm making, you make whatever you want, but it just gives you an excuse to make some art. So let's see. We got a few people watching right now. I'm going to jump right back in. I just got to set up my other camera real quick, so bear with me one moment, please. And I'm back. How you guys doing? If you're watching, sound off in the chat. Let me know that you're here. Let's see. So far in the chat, we have Jennifer Gupil, Ojasan Obscura, and Charlie 1984. Hello to all of you. Yes, it's been a while. Ojasan, I did a feature on your work, on your digital work last episode. Thanks for submitting then. Um, to everybody who is new to the show, if you have any artwork that you work on while watching the show, I would love to see it. Send it my way. My email address is clintcarneycreates@gmail.com, and I will feature it on an upcoming episode of the show for all to see. And Michael Garcia has just joined. What's up? All right, so no user submissions this time to show, but I do, of course, want to start off the broadcast by giving a huge thank you to everyone who supports me over on Patreon. Jennifer Gupil, Tango14, Travis, Anthony, Derek, Rachel, Elizabeth, Violet, Jill, Charlie, Misty, Donna, Stormy Dragon, Necrotecticon, Sarah, Brian, Susie, and Julie. Thank you all so much. It really means a lot to me. If you're not following me over on Patreon, there are free tiers over there as well. In the free tier, you still get all the updates when there's a new show coming up, either a live in-person show or obviously the streaming show, and so forth. So, that out of the way, last Art Autopsy, I had started a painting based on Mars attacks, and that was for an upcoming show at the Mystic Museum. I just dropped off the painting today, so I don't have it to show you, but I have a photograph of it, which is the next best thing. So this is how that painting turned out. Now, I had big plans of doing three-dimensional miniature VHS cassette tapes attached to the frame flying out, but unfortunately I had a little mishap with my printer, my 3D printer, as in I misplaced one of the screws that holds the resin bed in place. I had to order a new part, and it didn't show up in time for me to get that in there. But instead, I just did kind of this custom gradient paint job with the green and purple themes from the painting. Still happy with the way it turned out, and I found this frame at a garage sale for pretty cheap, and it just happened to be the exact dimensions of the painting I was working on, so it worked out really well, and pretty happy with how it turned out. So if you want to see this piece in person, uh, it will be at the When Monsters Attack show at the Mystic Museum. It should be going up any day now, but the opening reception is on May 22nd. So that's the day or night that I will be there. So if you want to come by on May 22nd and say hi, I would love to see you there. And let's see, also, while we're at it, if you go to my website, clintcarney.com, there's a list of all my upcoming events. So other than that, there is a show coming up in North Carolina called We're in a Pickle Now. It is a pickle-themed art show, which is what we are going to be working on today. I've been working all week on the underpainting for my pickle painting. So today we're starting with an underpainting, and you're going to come along with me as I add color and detail into it. But also coming up on my schedule, the next art autopsy will be on June 11th. Don't hold me to this 100% because I have a very busy month leading up to it. So I'm just starting work on a new movie. But in an ideal world, on the June 11th art autopsy, if all goes well and I'm able to get all the supplies in time, I hope to make that a sculpting art autopsy. So I'll be working on a new mask then from scratch if all goes well. If it doesn't work out timing wise, I'll do that again in the future. But my hope is to do that June 11th, so that should be fun. And then July 18th, I will be vending at the Hyena Horror Market. I'm going to have a whole bunch of new paintings there, hopefully a new mask if I can get that made in time. And this will be the debut release of my first novel, which is actually a novelization of the film Dry Blood that I wrote and produced. Finally turned it into a book after many years of toiling away at that, and hopefully it's the first of many books. So that being said, let's get into it. Here it is. Here's my pickle piece thus far. So still a lot of work to go. This is just the underpainting, and I've been working every night on this guy for the last week, and really happy with how he turned out. I decided to go for, as you can clearly see, more of like a saint motif, a saint pickle, if you will. I don't have a firm name for this guy or the painting yet, but this gives you a pretty good idea of where we're going with it. So let's see. Let me check in with you guys in the chat. See what I'm missing. Alrighty. Let's see. Just Obscure is going to be filming a movie from June 7th to the 20th. Oh, excellent. Right on. Good luck with that and break a leg. Charlie asks, how do you find out about the pickle exhibit, or did the pickle people find you? The pickle people found me. My friend and fellow Hyena Gallery artist from a long time ago, Shar Hall, who is an amazing, talented artist. I have several of her pieces in my collection. She reached out to me, and I didn't even know she had moved to North Carolina, but she had, and is running a gallery there, and asked me to be in the show. And of course, I love her. I love her work, and I was very honored that she would ask me to be in the show. So that's how I found out about the pickle exhibit, and yeah, there we go. Necrotechnicon says, yay, book. Michael Garcia says, that's Pickle Pope. Yes, it certainly is a Pickle Pope with his pickle spear. Charlie says, I call it the Book of Dill. And Ojisan says, that is an awesome pickle. Oh, well, thank you guys so much. Let's see, who else has joined us? Sarah has joined us, and I think I already said hi to everyone else. Zach Ward has joined us. How's it going, Zach? Good to see you here. Yeah, everyone, hello. Jennifer says, impressive drapery. Yeah, as you might imagine, just working out the cloth took quite a while. But let's talk about my plans for this here pickle. I often paint in very vivid colors. I go for very bright color schemes or whatever. But I thought with this one, I was going for more of like a classic old. I don't know what the period is, but old religious artwork, and this is going to be fairly muted color palette, so a lot of mostly earth tones in this one. I really want it to feel like an old painting, even though clearly with the subject matter, no one's going to believe that it is. And real quick, I just want to talk about this frame, because I love this frame. And you may be wondering why the hell I am painting this painting while it is still in the frame. So let me tell you the story. I was out canvas shopping at Hobby Lobby. They have pretty good canvas prices, and I saw this monstrosity. Um, you make my heart happy, right? So not a thing by itself that I would hang up, but is it on camera? There we go. But I love the frame, and it's actual wood. It's a wooden frame, and it has it's an unusual shape, and it already has a pre-cut piece of masonite right in it. So I bought every single one that they had because I just love the shape, and no one was buying these fucking things. Pardon my French. And they were on sale. It was like 40% off, and I just loved the shape, and so I bought them, and I thought this would be perfect for St. Picholas here. Not his real name, maybe it is. So the first thing I did is I took one and I knocked out the thing on it here, and you can see it's just it's masonite, but it broke apart coming out, and I broke the frame coming out of it, and I can repair both of these, so it's not a big deal. But for this bad boy over here, I didn't want to I didn't want to bother repairing, and like I said, I bought every one of those things they had in stock at the store. So I just had another one. I started from scratch, and I decided I'll just work on the painting, and who cares if I get a little bit on the frame. When the painting is done and dry, I will mask it off and then go to work on the frame. To start with, I had that lettering that "You Make My Heart Happy" is like kind of raised. I had to sand it down quite a bit, and then I put like 10 coats of black gesso on top of it, just so you couldn't read the letters underneath. And here we are, and that is the story of why my painting is already framed while I'm painting it. I probably spent way too much time explaining that, but you got to hear it anyway. So back to muted color palette. This is the color palette I have selected for this painting. To start with, unless I get unless I get inspired to bring in another color, but obviously, titanium white, ivory black, and then knocking paints over left and right here. Color-wise, I've selected 2 yellows. I've got a yellow ochre and a cadmium yellow. These are the colors that I envision working into not only his halo, but his pickle spear here will be golden. And if I get really crazy, you can see here I left like the edges of his robe here, or whatever you call this priestly garment, are a little lighter than the rest, because I was thinking maybe it's like a gold trim around it. So, uh-oh, did I freeze? Am I frozen, guys? Mine froze up. Did I lose everybody? I cannot tell. Nope, I'm not frozen anymore. Wait, or am I? Tell me, am I frozen? Okay, I think I'm back. Maybe it only froze for me. I feel like this happens at least once every live stream. Is that I think I'm frozen, and I'm really not. Anyway, those are my yellows. And then for the green base, which is going to be the main pickle color, I've selected oxide of chromium, which is kind of a muted green. So it's not so crazy as like a phthalo green, which I would normally use. You'll see, and we'll mute it down even further. And then I also have burnt sienna, which is going to primarily, be used in conjunction with the yellows to create the gold look. And then the book will also be like kind of a brown leather with maybe some gold embossings. And then there's obviously a little pickle on the book too. So that pickle may be green, or maybe that'll be gold embossed pickle. I haven't decided yet. I'll figure that out. And then, of course, he's got a pickle on the top of his pickle stick. So, and then final color here, manganese blue hue. This is the most vibrant of the colors, but I'm going to be mixing this into more of a grayish tone because it's going to be basically just like a cloudy sky behind him. So that's the base for the blue of the sky. And now you guys know way more than you ever wanted to about what colors I'll be using. And of course, I also have some liquid original formula to thin out the paint. What I'm going to be doing is, because I already have the underpainting, which has established all of my values here in terms of light and shadow, and so I'm going to be using a glazing technique where you use thin amounts of colors and you glaze those in lightly over the top so you can still see the values that I've established on the underpainting underneath. The only thing that's going to be more the sky, I'm going to have to go in a little thicker because you can see I'm pretty sloppy with my establishing shapes here, and I didn't really set up the cloud work very well yet. So I'll probably start with the sky. That's the boring part. Let's get it out of the way first. And then we'll start moving into the pickle. So I'll be glazing in color and then also trying to add detail as we go down. And I'll just pick kind of one object at a time. We'll do the halo, we'll do the pickles, the staff, the whole thing. We are going to see if we can't finish this painting tonight. Let's find out. And I saved you the boring stuff this time again, and I actually already put all the paint on my palette, so you don't have to watch me squeeze out paint for 10 minutes this time. All right. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, it still looks like it's freezing, unless he might, but you know. All right, the first thing I think I'm going to do, again, I've got this manganese blue, and this first layer in the sky, I do have it thinned out pretty thin with the original liquid, so you can see it's very subtle. I'm just laying that across the sky right now. I'm probably not being too careful. I don't care if it overlaps that much at this stage. And then once this thin layer of blue is on, I'm going to start mixing in some other colors with it, and you will see the magic happen before your eyes. So what are you guys working on tonight? Sound off in the chat. Let me know if anybody is working on any art or has been working on any art in recent times since we last spoke on the last live stream. Love to hear from you guys. Other than this painting and the Mars Attacks painting that I finished up, I'm working on a commission for Jennifer Goupil, who is currently watching. Everyone say hi, Jennifer. And that's a really interesting commission for me because this is a painting that Jennifer had started herself, and I thought it was already looking darn cool, but she wanted me to come in and screw it up. So this is more of a collaboration commission, which I think is probably not my first collaboration, but my first collaboration commission. So that's a fun one I'm working on. And then I just, of course, have the usual pile of 100 other paintings that I chip away at slowly but surely. I'm going to endeavor to finish up a bunch of new stuff before the next Hyena Horror Market so that I have some new work there for everyone to see. And if anyone watching is interested in that Mars Attacks painting, it is available now via the Mystic Museum in Burbank, California. No prints at the moment. I will eventually have prints for that one, most likely, but I got to work out whatever the deal is because it's not my character. It's like, there's got to be a trademark or a copyright there, and I want to make sure that I'm in the clear to release prints before I do that. I guess I'm already walking the line by doing the original painting, but I figure it's a tribute show, so probably can get away with it. Oh, now it's frozen. Oh my God, why is this freezing? Ah, I'm gonna try. Let's see, what can I try? See, it's weird when I look at my streaming software, it's not frozen. Am I unfrozen now? No, it seems to. Okay, frozen, unfrozen. I hope it's unfrozen. It may just be going crazy and doing this intermittently. I can't tell. It looks like I'm frozen, and I'm probably just talking to myself at this point. Who knows how long I've been talking to myself? I honestly can't tell if I'm frozen for you guys or not, but being as no one is saying anything in the chat, um, let's just assume I'm frozen. I don't know. Well, we're just going to power through it. I'm going to keep painting and hopefully it'll unfreeze enough to. Okay, well, I just closed like everything except for my streaming software and browser, so hopefully that does the trick. But audio is good. Okay, Undead of Night says the audio is good. And hello, Undead of Night. Thanks for joining. All right, I'm going to keep painting. Hopefully it comes back on. I don't really know what else to do about it at this point. So hopefully this won't be a disaster. If it is, maybe this is a good excuse for you to be working on your own art. Then you can just listen to me ramble while you work on your own paintings. Now what I'm doing is adding a little bit of titanium white to the mix. And you see how that blue that was on there, which is still wet, just mixes in so nicely with that titanium white. Creating a nice kind of milky blue sky. Let's see. Michael Garcia says, I'm working on my paper mache Oni mask I had in my room that never got to finish, so I'm doing it now. Excellent. Right on. Who else is making art today? It's not just me and Michael, right? It's, I'm counting on you guys to make some art. Well, this is, I imagine, a world where I start losing viewers if the um, problem persists. I really I don't know what it is because everything else is working good on my machine. I'm not having trouble online. When I look at my streaming software, it's not glitching. So, yeah, who knows? Who knows? All right, that just kind of softened the sky up there. What do you? I mentioned this earlier, but I was not looking at the chat because I was just rambling. But what do you guys think of the idea of doing a sculpting episode? Does that appeal to you, or do you prefer just watching me paint? Who wants to see a sculpting episode? Let me know in the chat if that sounds like a good time, or a bad time, or no time at all. Not frozen, just choppy. I look like I'm in slow motion. I see, I see. Well, we'll just persist and hope that things take a turn for the better. Yeah, the last few conventions that I've vended, which have been the Hyena Horror Market, I have had the same selection of masks. I'll do, paint variants and stuff, but I haven't done a new sculpture for a mask in a while, or not completed one in a while. So that's why I was thinking that might be a fun thing to do live. Okay. Oh, Michael says, now you are good. Excellent. And Travis says, sculpting would be awesome. All right, right on. Well, that's one vote for sculpting. Undead of Night says, I just bought my first Sculpey clay to try sculpting, so a sculpting video would be awesome. Oh, right on. Yeah, I love working in Sculpey as well. Not for masks, though. Masks are a little too big to do that with. So I'll be using either a wet clay, which is a water-based clay, or monster clay, which is a wax-based clay. I haven't decided yet. I use both when I'm working on masks. So when it comes time for the episode, I'm going to see what I have in stock. And honestly, I was thinking of doing a sculpting video today, but it turns out all of my sculpting head forms already have sculptures halfway done stuck to them, and I couldn't make the commitment as to which one I wanted to destroy to sculpt over for this episode. So I had the pickle painting in progress, so I figured why not do that and decide which painting to destroy later. Okay, our sky is coming along pretty simple, just softening up these clouds a bit. And then can darken some areas of our clouds. Keeping the background, again, pretty simple. I think there's a lot going on, a lot of detail that we're going to have on our main character here. So I don't want to distract too much from him. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Let's move on to our halo. So again, for our yellow selection, let's see. All right, we got a few more votes for sculpting. Thank you all. Undead Knight says, love the frame. It gives the image of a Lovecraftian feel. Thank you. Yeah, I love that frame too. I was surprised to find it in the wild and for a great price on sale. So like I said earlier, I snatched up all of the ones they had in stock. So I'm starting the halo here with just a yellow ochre to start with. Again, this is thinned out with Liquin Original Formula, which allows the underpainting work that I did to shine through. I'm allowing myself, obviously, to cut into the sky a bit on here for the glow, and that's a nice gold color. Again, I'm keeping everything fairly muted on this painting. Well, that's my intention at this stage. We'll see if I stick with that. And I'm just going to reinforce the ring here with some darker yellow ochre, or just thicker yellow ochre, not as watered down. There we go. Cool. And now I want to get a smaller brush, and I'm just going to go in with a cadmium yellow for that outer ring. Let's see if I can't improve my circle. Do you know how hard it is to paint a circle? Let me tell you, it ain't easy. If I were smart, I would have just taken a round object and traced it around. But no, I had to try to draw a circle by hand. And this is the result, this monstrosity of a halo you see before you. So I'm mixing up the cadmium yellow with a little titanium white to lighten it up. And I'm going to grab a yardstick, or what do I have here? I have a T-square right here. So I'm going to use this, and I just wedge it in my easel, and that allows me to just rest my hand on it, which is easier for me to do more precision work here. And I'm just going around the outside of the halo here. Just adding a little bit of glow to the outside, and again, trying to clean up my shoddy circle work. But yeah, I highly recommend, if you got to paint a circle, just use a compass or trace something that's round. Don't be like me and try to freehand it. Or you will end up with a circle like this. A circle that's not quite a circle. And as I move through to try to fix it, I mess up other parts. This is the pain of painting circles. Oh, why did I do this? Okay, and we may come back to that later on. Well, coming back to it right now, in fact. Every time I finish a painting, or in this case, when I think I'm finished with a part of a painting, I'll pull the brush away and then immediately see something that sucks and have to go back and fix it. Oftentimes, I try to save like signing a painting till like the last step. So I'll sign a painting, and then 8 hours later, I'll still be working on the painting. It's never done when you think it is. Okay, let's see. It'll Lakewood. I do not know how to pronounce your name. I'm terrible. I was wondering too, because I believe you bought a CD from me last week, and I don't know how to pronounce your name. Tell me, spell it out phonetically for me, Ms. Lakewood. But thank you for joining, and thank you for the kind words. Jennifer says you should get some gold leaf for the halo, like a medieval icon painting. It's funny you say that. I was actually contemplating gold leafing the frame. I hadn't thought of gold leafing the halo though. That's a great idea, and that would actually give me the opportunity to make a better circle. So thank you for that idea, Jennifer. I may end up doing that. We shall see. And Michael says, I don't mind sculpting experiment 4 weeks ago with foam clay for masks to make ears and noses for my latex mask. Right on. Been experimenting with foam clay. Right on. Very cool. I haven't done a lot of foam clay work myself, Michael, but I've seen a lot of cool stuff done with it. I've used it maybe a couple times for like last minute film prop stuff because it dries fast, and if you're on set and you got to make something in a pinch. But other than that, yeah, I haven't used a lot of it. So I figure while I'm working with my yellows here, might as well go ahead and work on his. I don't know what they call these things. I always call them Pope sticks. In this case, we're going to call it a pickle spear because that's the function that it's serving here, but I don't actually know what the real name for these devices are. And I'll be using yellow ochre and burnt sienna here just to kind of create this gold effect, and we'll be going back in and adding a little bit of shading and highlights after that as well. So Ojasan says, I like to use glass pot lids to make circles, but my wife is not a big fan of me using them. Yeah, I'll, whenever normally, again, this painting being the exception because clearly I did not premeditate the circle. I'll just, whatever size of circle ends up being in the painting is just whatever the closest circular object is to my easel. Just go, I need a circle. What do I have? It's usually a jar or a soda can or something, something in arm's reach. Also, I do not recommend freehand painting straight lines, as you can see here. Not my strong suit, but I can go over it enough times and get the lines straight enough to work. I don't know if you could tell on camera, but this is actually quite a small painting as well. So um, it's roughly just the canvas portion, I would say, is equivalent to like probably 9 inches at its widest and like 10 inches at its tallest. Just a guess. I didn't measure it actually, but pretty small for the amount of detail I want to cram in. But I did most of the heavy lifting in the underpainting. I really took my time with the underpainting, and I think, as you can see, the color is coming together so fast here because I did all that heavy lifting up front. The Undead of Night says a staff with a cross on top is called a ferula. Right on. See, learn something new every day. Well, thank you for that bit of information. What is it called when it's a pickle on top? That's the question. Can I get away with just calling it a pickle spear for the sake of the pun, or is it a pickle ferula? This particular tube of burnt sienna, I want to show you this tube real quick. Look at this thing. Uh, Look how much paint is left in there. This was when I first got back into oil paints, because I oil painted as a kid, then switched over to a lot of different mediums over the years, and finally made my way back to oil, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago or so. I just bought this little Georgian paint set, and this is from that original set from when I first got back into it, which shows you how often I use burnt sienna. Although now that I'm using it on this gold, it's reminding me that it's a nice color to work with. I probably should incorporate it into more paintings. Jennifer says a bishop or pope staff is called a crozier. Oh, so now we have two different options for it. Three if you count pickle spear. Interesting. Well, thank you all for looking that up. Is there anybody who is watching this live stream for the first time? I know obviously there's a lot of familiar faces participating in the chat, but who among you has never watched the live stream before? Sound off and let me know. Michael says, I just have a question, Clint. How do you own your ideas so that way owns your work? I, I get the gist of what you're asking there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just paint what's in my head, and I have had my work, um, let's kindly say, homaged before by other artists. It never bothers me unless in the rare instance where it is homaged by an artist who is more successful than I am, claiming it as their own idea, which does not happen often, has maybe a little bit before. But in general, I don't know. You put yourself out there and your work out into the world. If it resonates with people, it might find its way into other people's work at some point in time. I don't know that there's too much you can do about that, other than, just take it as a compliment. Be flattered that people respected your work enough to imitate it, right? Although, now if someone were to take an actual image of mine and then just try to, sell prints of it or put it on a t-shirt and try to sell that, I would, not be cool with that. But other than that, they say I'm not a lawyer or anything, but once you create something, you automatically have copyright on it by the creation itself. I don't know what that's good for. I don't know. It's never really been a problem for me, though. I don't think there's a lot of artists out there that are deliberately trying to copy other people's work. Well, sometimes, if you put yourself out there into the world and you put your work out there into the world, that could happen. And also, I'll say that I've done paintings before, that I thought were wholly original to my ideas, and then later on, years later, I'll see a painting that I have seen before, but just forgot about and realized that I borrowed something, borrowed that idea for one of my paintings subconsciously. And I'll give you a good example. There is an amazing artist from Mexico named Ricardo Cisnero, I believe. Sorry if I'm fucking up your name. And he has this beautiful painting that I love called The Butcher. And I had seen this painting before, loved it, totally forgot about it. And then a year or so later, I did a painting called The John, which is not the same painting. They're two different paintings. You can look them both up and see. But there were a lot of similarities. And then maybe a year after I had done the John painting, I once again came across his painting of The Butcher, and I saw the similarities immediately, and I went, "Oh fuck!" I kind of accidentally uh, took a bit of that a, a, a bit of inspiration from this painting without even realizing I did it. So my way of making penance for that is I immediately went and bought one of his paintings. So, so that one was not available anymore, but I bought another cool one that was available. But again, it was not a one-to-one rip-off of his painting, but to me, I could see the similarities there. So that being said, I think a lot of artists, anyone who is creating, what you see in your mind's eye is an amalgam of everything that you've seen in the world, other pieces of art, what you've seen in reality, and yeah, we're all susceptible to that, and it's not necessarily intentional if someone does it. So that is a very long-winded answer, Michael. I hope that is what you were looking for. And I've also seen a lot of artists who have done copies of my work intentionally. If you're in an art class, they call them master copies. If you're trying to paint like a master work of art. My work is not a master work of art, so I wouldn't. But I don't know what other word for it is. But I have seen other artists do versions of my paintings just as like an art exercise, and I love that. I always think that's super cool. So I never take offense to that. Another thing too, I know a lot of artist friends that are not cool with this, but for me, I'm totally cool with it. Some artists get bent out of shape if a tattoo artist does a tattoo on someone of one of their paintings. Um, for me, I just think that's awesome. Like if anyone wants to get my work tattooed on them, I always am stoked on that. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. And there's a few people out there with my work tattooed on them. A lot of times when that happens, the person who wants to get the tattoo or has gotten the tattoo emails them to me, and that's usually how I find out about them. But every once in a while, I'll just see one on the interweb and without knowing who the person is, and that's kind of cool. Just like it's always interesting when someone that you don't know enjoys enjoys your work. I think as an artist and as a musician, you get to meet a lot of people, and you have a very limited view of speaking for myself here. Like it always feels like I know all of the people who are into my work because I talk to a lot of them online, and so many of them are vocal and communicate with me and stuff. But then, you get reminded that there are people out there that just enjoy what you do, but don't who you don't ever have any contact with. Anyway, I'm rambling, but that's the nature of this show. It is basically a show about me rambling. But thank you for the question, Michael. If anyone else has any questions, let me know in the chat. All right, what are you guys thinking about the pickle spear or the what are the names here? Jennifer said Crozier, and Undead of Night said Ferula. What do you guys think so far? You digging the way it looks? Ojasan says, I bet he had another work in his memory when he painted the butcher as well. Hey, you never know. You never know. But if you guys don't know his work, check him out. He's a rad painter. Actually, which reminds me, I need to check in and see what he's been painting lately because he hasn't popped up in my social media feed in quite a while. Okay, now we're just going for the main pickle here. Again, this is that oxide of chromium green, which you can see is a pretty muted green. So I'm just starting out layering that across our entire pickle. And then watered down with or thinned down with liquid, and then I'll go back in and add some highlights and reinforce the shadows and so forth. But this technique of doing the underpainting monochromatic and then glazing on top, you can see how fast the finishing of a painting comes together when you do this process. When you front load the work. But personally, and for all of you who've watched the show regularly, I like changing it up and doing different techniques from time to time, so I don't get stuck just doing the same thing over and over again. I have fun just doing a variety of techniques, but most of the time my go-to is a monochromatic underpainting with glazed in color. That Mars Attacks painting I did, it's a good example of a painting that did not use this technique. I just went in with thick, vibrant color immediately, and I guess I can say I am not as fast at that technique, and sometimes it gets a little tedious. I feel like when I'm doing that, a lot of times I premeditate the painting a lot more up front and close myself off sometimes to the discovery of what the painting is going to be. I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. Okay, this, I really want him to have just a pretty disturbing expression on his face. I'm like halfway there in the underpainting with what it's going to be, but I haven't quite captured that look yet. I'll get there though. And getting a little bit of yellow ochre in there as well. Just a subtle amount. And you can see when you're glazing like this, there's always a point in the process where you start to lose a little bit of detail, and you have to come back and bring the detail back in, which is, this is that step, that stage right now. You can see his face is getting real lost in muted out, but I'll bring that back in a bit so we don't lose his personality, as well as all the bumps on the pickle. Those have gotten a little muted out as well. Brought back in a touch of cadmium yellow as well. Michael says, used to be scared to show my work. Yeah, that's a very common thing for artists. But you know, the more you do, the easier it gets. I think you have to have a healthy relationship with other people judging your work. You know, when you're an artist, if you're going to put your stuff out there, people are going to have opinions about it. They're not all going to be nice opinions, but you know, that just comes with the territory. Ojasan says, I'm digging it. Jennifer says, look good. Michael says he likes the sky. Charlie says, I like the staff, shiny gold. All right, well, thank you all. Okay, let's start bringing some detail back into our pickle. And yeah, I'm going to want to do more work on that halo, but I'm thinking more and more about what Jennifer suggested, which was doing the gold leaf for the halo, and I do like that idea, so we may end up going that route. Okay, I'm going to mix up my green with just a touch of black. Start bringing some of these shadows back in. Maybe give him the hint of like an eyebrow ridge here. Try to shape his eye a little better. And I'm just going to reinforce the shadow on these little pickle bumps. Pickle bumps, I'm sure that's a technical term. Yeah, so I just started work on a brand new film, um, which I can't talk, I can't tell you what film because of non-disclosure agreements, but it will be one of my bigger films for the year, biggest film of the year thus far, doing visual effects on that, which is its own kind of art. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully, in a future Art Autopsy episode, a few months from now, I can tell you the name of that movie. I will say I've watched it twice now, and really good. I enjoy it, and I think it's going to be a movie that people talk about. So we'll see. We'll see when it comes out, but I'm optimistic about its chances. But the movie business has been pretty slow this year, especially in California. Um, but most of the movie stuff that I've been doing lately has all been projects that have filmed out of state, and this one is no exception. That's one good thing about working in post production. I used to do more like on set work, when I was doing props and stuff like that more often. And that stuff would depend on things filming in California. But now that I'm mostly doing visual effects and editing, post production type stuff, I can get, I can still take advantage of the films that are shot out of the state. Oh man, I have cat hair on this brush that I am transferring to the pickle, which is no bueno. Let me see if I can remove this little hair. Actually, that might be a brush bristle, not a cat hair. Doesn't want to leave. Doesn't want to leave. Get off my painting. Get off my painting. All right. Well, kind of messed some things up in the process, but the hair is gone. Before my wife and I moved into the place where we're at now we're in a house, and so I do my painting in the garage. But prior to living here, we were in a rather not so large apartment, and we've always had cats, and there's just cat hair making its way into everything I painted. There was no way around it. Although it is fun having the cats around while you paint, I don't miss getting their hair in my paintings and trying to remove it every 5 seconds. Jennifer says, I own your patron saint of abortion painting, which came with a fun biography. It would be fun to have a biography for this pickle guy. Yes, that was a controversial painting, one that I thought would never sell just because of the title alone and the accompanying story. But I'm glad it went home with you, Jennifer, because I do like that painting. Yeah, that was actually, so that painting was done for a show at a place in Hollywood. I don't actually know if this place is still there or not, it might be, but it was called Forgotten Saints, and it was like a clothing store slash art gallery. It was a really cool place on Melrose Avenue, and used to do a lot of shows over there. And so, as like their inaugural words are hard art show for Forgotten Saints, they did an art show called Forgotten Saints, where you had to invent a saint that didn't exist, and that's what I chose. And then everyone was supposed to. That was part of the show. You know was to write a little bio for your saint, and I'm fairly certain that I was like one of 3 artists that actually did that part of the assignment. But I like writing, so was not a chore. Okay, yeah, he's starting to have an interesting expression on his face. I'm digging it. Sarah says no hairy pickles. Indeed. Michael says I like that Tarman zombies in your cabinet back there. Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's several Tarmen throughout the room. In fact, just today, as I was dropping off the Mars Attacks painting at the Mystic Museum, I stopped off at Blast from the Past, which is a great kind of toy store and collectible store in Burbank, right across the street from the Mystic Museum, and picked up the new Trick or Treat Studios Tarman action figure, which is super cool. One of my favorite on-screen zombies. Charlie says it seems like so much stuff is filmed in Canada now as opposed to New York or Cali. Yeah, very true. A lot of it has to do with tax incentives that other countries and other states offer. That unfortunately California has not been super competitive on that front in recent years. So that's why you see a lot of productions going out of state. And in general, there's just a lot of red tape with permitting and all kinds of stuff that make it a bit of a pain in the butt to film in California at times. So I'm just going to reinforce the outline of his head a bit. And then I think we'll move on. So if you are just tuning in to the show, you're watching Art Autopsy. This is a bi-weekly live stream. I'm your host, Clint Carney. I'm a professional artist. I do a lot of work in film and television. And every 2 weeks, I get on YouTube and I paint or do something artistic. So if you're new, thank you for joining. And anybody who is making art at home along with me, if you make something you'd like to share, email it to me at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com and I will share it on a future episode. And just darkening up some of his shadow side a bit. We lost a little bit of the contrast when we did the old glazeroo, so just darkening his shadow side back up. Now, I don't know anything about the gallery that this is going to other than that my buddy Shar is running the place. So I don't know I know Shar is a really talented tattoo artist and also painter and illustrator. So I assume because she's there that it's going to have some darker art in there, but it's also entirely possible that this is the weirdest pickle in the show. I don't know. It remains to be seen. And unfortunately, because it's not in California, I won't be there for the opening reception, but hopefully people will enjoy it. Do we have anyone in the that's watching that is from North Carolina? Anyone? Anyone at all? Would love to hear how it goes if anyone does end up going to that show. Yeah, I think that actually helped a lot, just bringing some of the darks back in on that shadow side. Let me get a little darker here too. And I want to make the iris on his eyes a little lighter shade of green just to differentiate them from the rest of his skin tone, his pickle tone. And in doing so, I messed up my iris or my pupil, but that's okay. Just pop that back in. Again, this painting is pretty small, so some of these little details, it's easy to mess up. But there's no mistake you can make with painting that you can't just fix with more paint. Okay, there he is. What are you guys thinking about his face there? Does he look sufficiently disturbing? Wow, Violet has joined us. V Gray Artworks. Hello, Violet. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Let's see. What do you got to say? Violet's just been watching the background while they're working on pink monochrome 30 by 30 inch piece for a coworker. That's a big painting. It's a Hello Kitty painting, which is kind of out of my normal purview, but you know. Oh, right on. Well, that's awesome. That's a huge painting. So good to hear you're working on new stuff. Undead of Night says no temptations at a squirrel. Well, you never know. You never know. I mean, the painting's not over yet, so maybe a squirrel will end up making its way in. We don't know yet. Give them a little specular highlights in there. Don't want to go too crazy with it, but just make the pickle look a little glossy. That one on his forehead's a little too intense. Let me wipe some of this paint away there. And I'm getting some titanium white on my brush and then wiping it mostly away and just doing a little bit of squiggly texture here, just trying to give the pickle some realism, break up the shapes a little bit. Again, my mission for the day or for tonight's session is to try to actually finish this painting. So we'll see if that happens, but I'm feeling pretty good about the chances right now, at least. It's coming together quickly, but the unknown is truly his the cloth of his wardrobe, because that's the underpainting, at least the cloth was the most time consuming part. Um, so I'm hoping it doesn't take that much time since I did all the legwork, in terms of the design of it in the underpainting. But you never know. What do you guys think about Jennifer's idea of doing the gold leaf for the halo? Do you like that idea, or do you prefer just paint for the halo? And to that end, had anyone ever done gold leafing before? It is, pardon me, it is a pain in the ass, but it looks really cool. Basically, what you do is you have these very super thin sheets of gold. They usually come in squares. And when I say thin, I mean they are so thin that if you look at them the wrong way, they break apart. It's very difficult to handle. So whatever you're gold leafing, in this case, let's say we're gold leafing the frame, you go section by section, you brush on an even layer of glue, and then you lay the gold paper on top of it, and you use a brush or dry brush to kind of push it into the details, and then you just go through and you patch it all together. It takes forever. Is an incredibly messy process because you get gold flakes everywhere, but it looks really cool though. So anyway, so that's what I'm thinking for the frame, and I do like Jennifer's idea of the halo, so may do that. I don't know. Chime in. Let me know what you think. Let's see. Count von Bockelwolfing, hello, welcome. Says, what did I miss? Painting looks great. Beautiful frame. Thank you. Yes. As Charlie says, frame from Hobby Lobby. I'll show you again for anyone who missed it. I got these terrible things at Hobby Lobby because I liked the shape of the frame, and they were on sale, so I bought a bunch of them and then just sanded off the text and gessoed it, and that's how this thing started out. I like the pickle guy much better than I like the simple text that was on the frame. Okay, let's see. Michael is going to his pizza. Good luck on the painting. Peace, everyone. Thanks for watching, Michael. Appreciate you joining. Sarah says, I think gold leaf would look awesome. You could probably incorporate it into the frame too. Yes, agreed. I think it would look cool on the frame for sure. Undead of Night says, loving how you managed to make a pickle look sinister and evil. What are you talking about? He's a friendly pickle. He just has that look. He can't help it. That's how he looks. That's just his face. V Gray Artwork says, I said gold leaf. I know you just said it's a pain in the ass, but why the fuck not? Yeah, I think, it might be worth it. Sarah says, pickles make my heart happy, so it's perfect. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's get to his robes, and then we'll do his robes next just to get him out of the way, because that's going to be the biggest pain in the ass. And then we'll do his hands, and we'll do his holy book of pickles, probably as one of the last things. So, yeah, my thought is he basically has two different kinds of fabrics here, or maybe it's just one fabric that's double-sided. There's going to be like a white part of his robe, and then like a green, more pickle-colored part of his robe, and you can kind of see how I differentiated the values, although the difference is subtle. So white and green is what we're working with for the base colors on his robe. And then again, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, I'll probably want to do some cool gold embroidery type effects along the borders. Well, it's not going to paint itself. I'm staring at this for too long, psyching myself up. Let's just do it. Let's get to it. Didn't mean to rhyme. Although, anyway. Yeah, again, I did all the hard work on the cloth for the most part, just in the underpainting stage and in the initial sketch, just kind of figuring out how it was going to overlay. I don't know that this is like, accurate to real world cloth physics here, but the pickle doesn't seem to mind. He's cool with it. So the trick is not ruining too much of my detail work while still, um, brightening up the white portion of the cloth. And maybe I'm gonna bring in some burnt sienna for the shadows on the white portion of the cloth. Let's just test it out in a bit. Oops, that's too much. Wipe off the old brush a bit. Yeah, that's nice. That's working. And again, for those just joining, I've got a few art shows coming up. If you're interested in seeing when those are or seeing when the next live stream is going to be, you can head on over to clintcarney.com, and that has the full schedule of the lineup of stuff thus far. Of course, more events will come later on in the year. If you want to get notified when those events come up, I will point you to my Patreon. You can sign up over there if you want to support. There's even free accounts that and you still get notifications with the free account as well, just to let you know when I'll be live painting or at an event, all that fun stuff. Again, all the links on clintcarney.com. Sarah says pickle vestments might be completely different from ones people would wear. This is very true. This is very true. It's one of the forgiving parts about painting weird and sort of surreal or abstract stuff is that you can get away with making stuff up, right? Because this is a character and a creature that does not exist in real life. If I fudge his wardrobe a bit, um, I'm not violating any big laws here. And I'm just, you can see I dipped the brush a little bit into the green and I'm just pulling that into a little bit of the white just to get some nice uh, bounce from the pickle onto there. Which is why I think that burnt sienna is working nicely in the shadow side of the whites here, because it's almost like a bounce from the color of the pickle spear. We're sticking with pickle spear. You know, I don't know why, but I'm liking this painting so much more than I thought I would. Something about this character I think is pretty fun. Having a good time painting him. Okay, again, we're gonna go with like a little gold trim around parts of his robe here. Anyone who has watched, I know that you guys are kind of spread out all over the country. Some of you might not even be in the country. I don't know. But for any of you that are in California, I know there's at least a couple of you that are. Is anyone going to go check out the Mystic Museum? Again, the opening is May 22nd, but the exhibit will be up for a while. And I know they always do really cool, like interactive displays there at the museum. So they always just do a fantastic job with all of their events. That being said, they are all, because they do such a great job with their events, they're crowded as hell generally, but worthwhile. And I always end up running into cool people there. Okay, yeah, I think I'm thinking of this as more double-sided in a way, like this, because this is part of the same cloth thing, but I kind of want green on this side and white on this side. So yeah, yeah, whatever. It doesn't have to make sense. I'm doing it. Just getting in this gold trim, and this is just yellow ochre on the gold trim at first, and then I'll eventually go in and we'll add a little bit of highlights and very minute detail to that in a bit. And then let's see, we're going over there. Let's think. This looks good, I think. Coming along. It's getting there. Charlie says he's staring into my soul. That's right. He sees you, Charlie. Charlie says, someone's definitely going to buy this. I hope you get to make prints before it goes to a new home, though. Yeah, I make sure to professionally photograph every painting before it leaves my house for a gallery. Because in the past, I've done that a few times where I didn't have a good, well, more than a few times where I didn't have a good photograph of a painting, and then it sold and I didn't know who bought it, and then I wanted to make prints later, but I never had a good photo, and then there's no prints. So certainly learned my lesson on that front. And I think on this side, on the shadow side, I'm going to use a little bit of our green in here on the shadows, just a touch. And same as we did on the pickle itself, when it comes to, when we get to the stage, I'll be going back in and reinforcing all of the dark shadows with, with the black again. Oh, also, if you are in Burbank in the area of the Mystic Museum and you are a VHS collecting nerd, as am I, which you no doubt know by now, there is a store called Be Kind Video, and that is right on Magnolia Boulevard, pretty close to Mystic Museum, and a great selection of VHS horror. So my purchases for today from Be Kind Video, let's see, what did I get? I got Leatherface, which is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Pumpkinhead 2, Friday the 13th Part 5, which is one of two Friday the 13th that I was missing from my VHS collection, and A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, which is also one of two Nightmare on Elm Street that I was missing from my collection. And then I also got The Fly 2 today. So yeah, great VHS haul for today. I splurged. But yeah, Be Kind Video, really cool shop. There's so many Burbank. I live in Santa Clarita now, which is a suburb of Los Angeles. But before I moved here, the wife and I were in Burbank for 12 years, and it's just such a cool town. There's so many great, oddly horror-related shops in Burbank. Hyena Galleries in Burbank, Mystic Museum. Dark Delicacies, which is unfortunately closed now, but it was a great horror uh, bookstore. What else you got? You got Killer Fitness, which is a horror-themed fitness place in Burbank. You've got uh, I think it's called the Horror Bodega, something like that. It is by another a cool little horror-themed bodega by Eric, who runs the Mystic Museum. That place is cool. There's Halloween Town. There are two Halloween Towns, which are year-round Halloween shops. Um, one is primarily costumes. The other one is just all kinds of horror stuff. Um, again, Blast from the Past that I mentioned before. Another cool shop that sells a lot of horror stuff. And Hyena Gallery I already mentioned. But yeah, and I'm probably missing, definitely missing a lot more. There's just so much cool stuff in Burbank. So if you're ever in Burbank, all you got to do is drive down Magnolia Boulevard, and you will see a ton of cool shops. Let's see. Sarah says, forgot to mention, of all the shirts I wore at Darkfest, my System Sin shirt by far got the most comments. Ah, cool, excellent, yay! I saw a lot of pictures from Dark Forest Festival that my friends posted, and it made me wish I were there. I had a great time at that festival a few years back, and I hope they'll have me back one of these times in the future. Such a cool festival. Charlie's asking, is that green his robe or part of his arm? It's his robe, but his robe's also going to be the same color as his skin as well. So it kind of will all morph together in a way that I hope will work. We'll see. Bram Bubonic says Black Moon Cosmetics. Oh, actually, I don't know that shop. Nice. Undead Night asks, did you watch Santa Clarita Diet? Fun series with a horror twist. I worked on Santa Clarita Diet, actually. I designed and did the original sculpture for Mr. Ball Legs, if you remember him from season 2, I believe, of Santa Clarita Diet. And then in season 3, Mr. Ball Legs gets a little spider toy with a top hat that goes in his cage. I made him too. So there you go. Although I will say Mr. Ball Legs on screen is entirely CG generated, is digital, and I did not do the digital work, but I sculpted the original maquette that and designed him that the 3D work is done from. So they scanned my work in, presumably, or recreated it digitally and animated it. So yes, fun show. I wish it was still going. Oh, and I see Jennifer already answered the same question. I should have just read below. Sarah says maybe you can play next year. I hope so. That would be fun. I would love to go back if they will have me. I've done a lot of shows, even before Dark Forest Fest. It's put on by Jet, who runs VampireFreaks.com, and I've done a lot of shows with him and his team over the years in New York. And yeah, good dude. And yeah, hope to go back one of these days, sooner than later. It's funny too. This little the board that came with this frame that I'm painting on right now is actually a great surface to paint on. Again, it's just a little piece of press board or masonite, and I did gesso it a bunch to get rid of that text. But yeah, it's really it really takes paint really well. If this painting were larger, I would probably be more or less inclined to be skipping around sections as much as I am, but because it's so small and I'm really left with the bottom of the painting and I can rest my hand right here on my easel, I'm just moving around at will here because my hand has a rest, the natural rest on the easel. I'm not worried so much about smudging the paint with the back of my hand. I'll post a time lapse of the whole thing once I finish the painting, so that if you're following me here on YouTube or on any of the socials, you'll see the time lapse if you're curious about how the first part of the painting came together. Um, this one I actually kind of rarely, for me, I drew this one in pencil first on the surface, and then just use the pencil as my guideline. A lot of times I'll just draw directly in paint, or I will, lately I've done a few pieces with this kind of white pencil thing here as a starting point, but this time I just went for the classic, good old-fashioned #2 pencil. Actually, I used a mechanical pencil, but it's probably still #2 graphite. See, when no one's active in the chat, I just have to answer questions that no one's asking. Like how I drew how I started the painting. Anyway, I realized last year I was really active with posting time lapses, and I have been kind of slow with it this year. But I think that's because I started a lot of paintings that I haven't finished yet this year. So they'll probably all get finished around the same time, and then there'll be a big dump of all these time lapses. And I'm just just laying down that green as a glaze, and then I just take a little bit of my titanium white and sometimes a little bit of the yellow ochre and bring some of these highlights back in on the green. And feeling pretty good about that. I'm just going to do his hand real quick while we're in the general area. Human hand on a pickle, because why not? I wanted him holding stuff, and I know how to draw a human hand better than I know how to draw a pickle hand, so it wasn't a tough decision. I am curious to see what the other work is in this show. Um, you never know what someone's going to do for a pickle themed show, so I hope they post it all online, because I would love to see what the other artists in the show come up with. I always worry too. There's an irrational worry here, but it's like, every time I'm doing a group show, I always think, oh fuck, what if someone at the show has the same idea I do, and then but probably don't have to worry about that with a Saint Pickle or a Pickle Pope or whatever this dude is. But it would be pretty fun if someone else had a similar idea. Now that last the Mystic Museum piece that I did, the monsters or the Mars Attacks piece, that is a Mars Attacks themed show. So obviously there's going to be people that are painting that alien. That's all that's going to be in the show, pretty much, I would imagine. But um, my hope is that no one else thought of the idea to have that alien rampaging through a 1980s video store. Because that would be pretty random if they did. I think too the key when you're working on a piece for a tribute show like that, especially when it's a tribute to a movie, and I've done a lot of those kind of shows. I always recommend don't just take a scene from the movie and repaint that. You know, a lot of times the easy route is to take a screen grab from the film and just kind of recreate that. But if you do that, then you really do run the risk of having another artist in the show do the exact same painting that you've done. So if you can create an image that's original that no one's seen before, you improve your odds. Okay, what's happening in the chat? What's up with you guys? Brian Babonic asks, have you titled this piece? I haven't yet, Brian. I got a few ideas in my head. I'll probably come up with whatever his saint name is or his pope name is, and it'll just be titled that. But I haven't committed to anything yet. Um, Sarah says, I feel like the pickle hand would be spear fingers. Yeah, probably. That makes sense. Just like a pickle sliced 5 ways to make little fingers. Hey, Liz, thanks for joining. And yes, pickle. Undead Knight says, oh, I made a mistake. Thought this was for the Mystic Museum. I get it now. Mars Attacks VHS for the Mystic Museum. Yeah, Mars Attacks for the Mystic Museum. This one going to a gallery in North Carolina, and I'm blanking on the name of that gallery. Shame on me, but I just learned the name of the gallery today. But it is on my website now. So if you go to clintcarney.com, that gallery, that show's listed up there right now. So okay, yeah, I'm probably gonna give him just a few selected pickle bumps on his hand too. What do you call it? Little, the bumpy parts on a pickle or cucumber. Just add a couple in here. And for those, I just start with a little shadow color and then just come in with a highlight color. Just keep those subtle. And I don't necessarily like it though, but we'll see. We'll see. I'll leave it there for now. We'll see if it grows on me. I think this part of his robe here, right opposite the hand there, is a little too light. I'm going to darken that up just a bit. And I'm even going to take some black and just reinforce the edges of his hand there and the shadows. Thank you, Liz. Appreciate it. Glad you dig it. And welcome back from your trip. ACAC. Thank you, Brian. That should be easy enough to remember. I don't know why I forgot. But yeah, anyway, should be a fun show. Again, run by artist extraordinaire Shar Hall, who you know, Brian. Shar is awesome. Okay, getting close. Getting close. I think at this point we can safely say that this painting will be finished today, other than the gold leafing and the frame fuckery that is to come. Just gonna have to make sure that I thoroughly mask off. Well, I gotta thoroughly let this painting dry for one, and then thoroughly mask it off before I do any work on the on the frame, because that would not be fun if I accidentally gold leafed over a part of the painting that I didn't intend to, because that shit won't come off. Yeah, I think the pretty limited color palette on this painting is actually working out okay. Um, and keeping it muted, I think, was the right call on this. That was just, again, just a stylistic thought going into it that I thought might work out okay given the subject matter. But I think it was the right call. I think if this guy was too vibrantly colored, it wouldn't have that old Catholic saint feel to the piece that I wanted. Liz says the green and yellow pops. I like the muted colors too. Thank you. Benno from Oz, 1975, says agreed. Hey, thank you, Benno. Thanks for joining. Getting there's a little too much information in that this part of the cloth here that's confusing me. I'm just gonna simplify that a bit. So it feels more like cloth and less like a mess of spider webs. Okay. Let's see. I might as well paint the book. So we just got to do the book. We got to do his hand. We got to do this side, and then we'll take a step back and try to look at it with fresh eyes and see what else it needs. But he's coming along. I think he's looking pretty fun. And not breaking our existing color palette, still sticking with the same color palette. The primary color on the book is going to be burnt sienna, so which was kind of one of the colors we used in our gold. And this will be like a leather bound book with gold embossing on the book. And I still undecided. Do I make the pickle on the front of the book gold embossed as well, or do I make that green? I'm torn. I'm gonna think about that as I work on the rest of the book and come back to that part. And for the gold highlights here, I'm just going to take a little bit of titanium white, mix it up with some yellow ochre. Let's see how that's looking. I think that'll look nice. Yeah, that works. That works. I'll even add a little bit of a specular highlight on just just these little ridges on the gold leafing part. Just to try to make it look a little more gold-like. And maybe I'll lighten up the ridge of the book cover here. Oh, Facebook, in their reminders that they tell you it's been however many years since you did whatever. The reminders Facebook gives you to make you feel old. I guess today was 15 years ago today. I was on set with We Bought a Zoo, which was not the first movie I worked on, but it was the first movie that I was on set for doing props. The first major movie I was on set for. So that was a fun moment in my life, and very hard to believe that it was 15 years ago. Time, it does fly. Just trying to give a little bit of texture to the leather on the book here. Okay. I'm just going to keep the pickle on the book green. I'm going to go with green. I think if I were to try to make it look like a gold-leafed pickle on the cover, it might just get lost and be a little visually confusing. Besides, it's a pickle-themed art show, so one more distinctly green pickle ain't going to kill us. I do like pickles, by the way, for the record. I had my wife made us veggie burgers tonight for dinner, and I may have put I don't know, 10 pickle slices or so on mine. I do have a pickle problem, so I feel at ease around Saint Pickle here. Pope Pickle, first of his name. I read your comment too late. Jennifer says another pop of gold would be work nicely with all of the green. That's a good point, but I fucked that up now. I'm sorry. Too late. This is why I should be better about reading the chat. That is a good idea, but I think it's working okay with the green pickle. I don't mind it. Triple pickle. Sarah says 10 is light, referring to my selection of pickle slices. She says the drive-in didn't have fried pickles last year, and I was very sad. They brought them back last week, and I've already had 3 orders of fried pickles. Oh man, I love fried pickles. I have not had fried pickles in a long time. Way too long. I'll have to remedy that. I don't know who is selling fried pickles these days in my area. Anyone have any suggestions for a good fried pickle place in Southern California? Very quiet. Oh, 9 o'clock already. So we're 2 hours in. That's not bad. We did most of the finishing on this guy in 2 hours. That's not too bad. All in on this piece, I would say, oops, too much paint. All in on this piece, I would say, I would guess that between the drawing and the underpainting, that was probably 4 hours of work, 5 hours of work. So yeah, we're probably 6 to 7 hours deep on this painting, which is not too bad. It was a good time all the way through, so can't complain about that. At no point in time did this painting go through the stage where I hate it. So, which is very rare. Usually on any given painting, there will be a point in it where I just, the point of despair. Where you question why you put so many hours of your life into that painting. But this guy, I've been digging him right from the beginning. So I think that's a good sign. Okay. Now's the time where I'm just going to sit back a bit and look at the painting for a minute. So let me take a break from looking at it to read your what you're saying in the chat, and then I'll go back and just kind of make an assessment, see if we're ready to call it done at this stage or not. Let's see. Sarah says no recommendations in California, but if you're ever in southern Indiana between May and October, we can hook you up with pickles and a good drive-in movie. Ah, excellent. Love pickles and drive-in movies. Benno says all the pickle secrets in that good book. That's right. That's right. This book contains everything you will ever need to know, possibly in your lifetime, about pickles. All right. I do. I'm just going to do some. Embroidery just little hints that maybe there's some detail in here. Cool. Yeah, I think that this little, it's real simple. I'm just doing little dots kind of along the lines here on the seam, but it adds a little bit more character into that. And then as we're drawing to a close, because this painting is pretty much getting close to being ready to just dry for a while before we get to gold leafing, which will not be tonight. I just want to remind you guys, if you want to keep up with me, you can always find links to my YouTube channel and all my socials and my Patreon over at clintcarney.com, as well as a schedule of upcoming events. So just to remind you, I've got opening reception and group show coming up at Mystic Museum on May 22nd. There is a pickle themed art show that unfortunately I won't be in attendance at, but I do recommend going in North Carolina. The date at the ACAC gallery, and the date is on my website. Can't remember. And then there is, of course, the new Hyena Horror Market coming up in July, where I will be debuting the release of my first book, which is a novelization of the film Dry Blood that I made, and as well as hopefully debuting some new masks. So the goal is to do some sculpting on the next art autopsy and get started on a new mask and kind of show you guys a new side of my artistic endeavors, which is doing the sculpting as well. So yeah, I think we're going to pause on this. I might end up making some more tweaks later on, but I think this is a great stopping point for this painting. Made a lot of progress today. So oh, you know what? Shit. I see one more thing here. There's just this shadow that needs to be reinforced under the book. Great. All right, cool. Now we're at a stopping point. So, uh, yeah, there we go. Jennifer says Lucille's Barbecue does fried pickles. Don't know if they're good. Sadly, I cannot have gluten. Ah, well, good to know. Brian Bubonic says Bricks in Newhall is said to have good fried pickles. Ah, I see. Well, Newhall is right close to me, so I shall have to investigate. Thank you, Brian. All right, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys. Uh, if you enjoyed the live stream, please like the video on YouTube and leave a comment. That'll just help the algorithm show it to more people so that more people can tune in the future for these live streams. Hope you guys have a fantastic night, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. All right, take care, guys.